Mortal Kombat is a worldwide phenomenon, a revolution in the fighting game industry until the mid-90s when it stepped down from its throne during its transition into 3D, only to return with a vengeance in 2011. Join MK Secrets as we review the history of the franchise that changed our childhood, our future, and the world of fighting games forever.
You're here to compete in Mortal Kombat.
One of you three will decide the outcome of the tournament.
It has begun!
In August 1995, Mortal Kombat the movie premiered on the big screen and conquered the hearts of the fans. The movie remained at the top of the box office for 3 whole weeks and was the second highest opening for August, earning $122 million worldwide. With a budget of around $20 million, the creators wanted to make a movie that delivered story-driven characters, great visual effects, and breathtaking action with a cast of true martial artists.
Let Mortal Kombat begin!
Shooting locations in Thailand were chosen to represent the vision the writers had for Shang Tsung's island.
A handful of people on a leaky boat are going to save the world. Exactly.
The story for the movie was derived from the original game and shows the events of the 10th Mortal Kombat tournament, its outcome to decide the fate of the Earth. Selected characters from the first 2 games appear and mostly retain their original backstory.
Mortal men and women defending your own world. It's not about death, but life.
Johnny Cage.
Several actors were considered for the part of Johnny Cage, including Jean-Claude Van Damme, who turned it down to star in Street Fighter. Brandon Lee was originally cast but died during an accident while filming The Crow. Cameron Diaz was cast in the role of Sonya Blade, but broke her wrist during martial arts practice and had to be replaced. Bridget Wilson performed all required stunts, including fight scenes. Sonya's partner, Jax, also makes a few brief appearances. A battle between Sonya and Jade was originally part of the script, but was never shot.
Let's dance.
Christopher Lambert's portrayal of the Thunder God Raiden is one of the most memorable parts of the movie.
Mortal men and women defending your own world. Mortal Kombat.
Scripted, but never filmed, was a scene where one of the fallen fighters is buried in the Garden of Statues, near the statue of the great Kung Lao. Unlike the games, the movie had a PG-13 rating, and it does not include excessive violence or blood. Three different animatronic suits were created in order to bring the 4-arm Shao Kahn Prince to life. Even though there were noticeable design flaws, Goro was very well received by the fans and participates in some of the most iconic scenes of the movie. The film ends with a scene that was originally not part of the script: the arrival of a new enemy.
The Emperor.
Weak, pathetic fools, I've come for your souls.
A massive wave of merchandising and additional projects accompanied the release of the movie. Action figures, the ultimate guide, 2 novels, an official magazine, 3 audio albums, a sticker album, trading cards, clothing.
They are mine.
And this was not everything. Mortal Kombat: The Journey Begins was released on VHS and Laserdisc several months before the feature film and is the movie's official prequel. This 54-minute animated movie uses not only standard 2D animation, but also motion capture and CGI to tell the origin stories of key characters of the franchise. Four of the fight scenes were created entirely in 3D, making this movie one of the pioneers in using this technology. However, this came at the price of ugly-looking fighting sequences. These scenes tell the stories of Goro's childhood and family, Shang Tsung's corruption of the Mortal Kombat tournament, the fall of the Great Kung Lao, and the rivalry between Scorpion and Sub-Zero. The animated movie ends at the beginning of the tournament, presenting all participants with a short bio, leading directly into the feature film. The live-action movie was very well received, but The Journey Begins had a different fate. It received mostly bad reviews, which criticised a poorly done animation and the lack of character development, and was quickly forgotten by the fans. The Mortal Kombat Blu-ray, which was released in 2011, featured The Journey Begins as one of the special features.
You've played it. You've watched it. Now live it. Mortal Kombat, the live tour, coming soon.
Shortly after the release of the feature film, a martial art theatrical stage show called Mortal Kombat: The Live Tour started. The plot revolved around the protectors of the Earth, who must retrieve the sixth and final dragon amulet in order to stop Shao Kahn's invasion. The show's premiere was at Radio City Music Hall in New York on September 14, 1995, and was followed by a 200-city road trip.
I think the laser show was wonderful. The colors were great, and it's exciting about the whole thing.
The show's great. It's a real family entertainment.
It was great, man.
The laser show was fabulous, incredible, intense.
Similar to the movie, the live tour did not have any blood or fatalities. Instead, it focused on choreographed martial art moves, music, and laser effects. A lot of characters appeared in the show.
Sonya.
Kerry Hoskins, the actress who portrayed Sonya in the third game, reprised her role for the live tour. Another noticeable staff member is Kari Hiroyuki Togawa, the actor who played Shang Tsung in the film. He was one of the fight coordinators of the show. Tickets for the live tour were advertised in various gaming magazines. The show ended in 1996. It left a lot of fans disappointed with this attempt to target a different audience than the games. In autumn of 1996, an updated version of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 called Mortal Kombat Trilogy was released exclusively to home systems. The goal with this game was to create the biggest Mortal Kombat title ever, bringing back all characters and backgrounds from the previous games. Mortal Kombat Trilogy was initially released for Sony PlayStation and Nintendo 64. The PlayStation version was ported to Sega Saturn and PC in 1997. 4 handheld versions of the game were also manufactured. The Nintendo 64 version was developed by Midway and suffered from poor sound quality and missing characters due to the limited storage space on the N64 cartridge. Avalanche Software developed the PlayStation version. The number of playable characters was significantly increased, and additional fighters were added next to those who were already in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Noob Saibot, the Black Ninja, returns as a playable character with his own set of special moves and finishes. He is a member of the Brothers of the Shadow that is worshipping the fallen elder god Shinnok. In the eyes of the fans, Noob Saibot will forever remain the most broken character a Mortal Kombat game has ever seen. The Purple Ninja, Rain, is also a playable character. He now has his own finishing moves, which were missing from the home ports of the previous game. Baraka and the God of Thunder, Raiden, return as playable characters after they were absent from the previous 2 games. Human Smoke, Shao Kahn and Motaro are 3 of the hidden playable characters in the Nintendo version. All of them appear as selectable fighters in the other versions of the game. In addition, the PlayStation version of Mortal Kombat Trilogy and all its ports offer several more characters.
Toasty.
The boss characters, Goro and Kintaro, are playable for the first time, and classic variations of 4 fighters expand the roster of the Hidden Warriors. Both main versions received an exclusive secret character. For PlayStation, this was Chameleon, a male ninja with no storyline or ending. He randomly morphs into the other 7 male ninjas and has control over their special and finishing moves. For Nintendo 64, a female version of the character, named Chameleon with a K, was included. She possesses the same abilities as her male counterpart and switches randomly between the 3 female ninjas and uses their abilities. Chameleon is the only female survivor of Reptile's race. One of the late additions is a fighter that was originally going to be the only absent character from the game, Johnny Cage. The sprites for the character were completely reshot with a new actor. Nintendo owners paid a high price for his inclusion, as Johnny Cage took the place of the unmasked Sub-Zero, who can still be seen in earlier versions of the game. Before the release of the PAL Platinum version of the game, several magazines published images of another fighter who was supposed to be included.
Crowd wins.
This black and yellow ninja fighter was, according to the rumors, in development for one of the later revisions, but was never finished. Parts of him, including his ending, are rumored to still be present in one of the released editions. Unfortunately, the complete story about the existence of this character remains a mystery, even today. Another character that was supposed to be included in the game, but didn't make the final cut, was Tremor. According to his original story, he was a former warrior of the Lin Kuei and is working for Shao Kahn. His bio was falsely published in the instruction manual instead of Rain's biography. Eager fans had to wait a few more years for further details about this mysterious ninja. The gameplay was expanded by the inclusion of the Aggressor. This bar fills during battle, and once activated, the character becomes faster and does more damage for a short period of time. Some of the characters received new special and finishing moves in addition to their old ones, and Brutalities, the finisher that first appeared in the home versions of the previous game, were added here as well.
Jax wins. Brutality.
Several aspects of the previous games were sacrificed during the development because of missing character sprites. These include the stage fatality of the Pit 2 arena and finishing moves of the classic characters. Almost all arenas are included, with the exception of several backgrounds from the original Mortal Kombat. Although good, the graphics of Mortal Kombat Trilogy are inferior when compared to the graphics of the arcade versions. Very noticeable is the smaller size of the fighters, which prevents the execution of quite a few previously possible combos. Several different versions of the game were released for the PlayStation, with later revisions trying to fix different gameplay issues in order to bring the game closer to the arcade version of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Unfortunately, this was never fully achieved, and one of the most important elements in the game, the run jab, was not fixed. Mortal Kombat Trilogy is faster than its predecessor, and huge balance issues that revolve around the boss and the classic characters are still present in the final revisions. The Nintendo 64 version had completely different game mechanics. To compensate for the missing characters, this version offers more secrets, several bonus games, and one exclusive game mode. It also features the highly criticised and poorly executed fatalities for the two boss characters, and a few changed backgrounds. Despite all this, the game is played in tournaments even today, but with a lot of rules on the table. Mortal Kombat Trilogy was the most complete game of the series when it was originally released, and it marks the end of an entire era for the franchise. As such, it holds a special place in the hearts of thousands of fans, who will never forget the very first time they were able to play as their beloved boss character. Sadly, the game couldn't reach the superior quality of gameplay, visuals and sound offered by Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, and will forever live in its shadow.
Let Mortal Kombat begin!
Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm premiered in September 1996 on the USA Network. The animated show based on the franchise continued until December 1996 and ended after its 13th episode. The story revolved around a group of warriors assembled by the God of Thunder to defend the Earth. The episodes followed the events of the movie, with storylines that tried to further develop the characters and their backgrounds. Liberty was taken on several occasions, creating stories and characters that were new to the franchise.
It has begun!
Targeting an even younger audience than the movie, Defenders of the Realm does not include any blood or fatalities, and the violence is toned down to a grade suitable for children. The show received mostly negative reviews and is widely ignored by the fans. However, there are several aspects that are worth mentioning. Quan Chi, one of the most iconic characters of the franchise, made his debut in Episode 8. He has appeared in every game ever since and has become an integral part of Mortal Kombat. The 9th episode of Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm was part of a crossover with 3 other animated series of the same network: Street Fighter, Savage Dragon, and Wing Commander Academy. The crossover tells the story of the Warrior King and the Orb of Power, which travels through different dimensions and can control the elements. With its choppy animations, funny one-liners and targeted children audience, Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm will remain in history as one of the most bizarre things that can come out of a bloody franchise such as Mortal Kombat.
It has begun!
2 years is too short a time to release 3 games, a feature film, an animated movie, a theatrical show, and an animated series. By the end of 1996, the market was oversaturated with Mortal Kombat products, some of which with questionable quality. With the world of gaming rapidly shifting towards a new dimension, it became clear that a change was needed.
Toasty 3D!
Mortal Kombat is a worldwide phenomenon, a revolution in the fighting game industry until the mid-90s when it stepped down from its throne during its transition into 3D, only to return with a vengeance in 2011. Join MK Secrets as we review the history of the franchise that changed our childhood, our future, and the world of fighting games forever. In 1996, two teams were formed at Midway to work on two parallel Mortal Kombat titles. Ed Boon and his team focused on the development of the next major installment of the fighting game series. At the same time, John Tobias and his team wanted to explore the background stories of the characters and focused on the very first action-adventure game of the franchise. A decision was made to connect the characters and the story of the two games so that people who have played them both could be immersed in the world of Mortal Kombat as never before.
Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero.
Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero was released for PlayStation in October 1997. A Nintendo 64 version appeared in December 1997. The game was the first of several planned Mortal Kombat titles to explore the origins of key characters of the franchise. The story takes place before the events of the first Mortal Kombat game and shows the Lin Kuei warrior, Sub-Zero, on a quest to return the amulet of the fallen elder god Shinnok, which he was hired to steal at the beginning of the game. Whilst on his journey, Sub-Zero meets Scorpion, and the player is introduced to the beginning of the rivalry between the two fighters. The story is told with the help of full-motion videos created with live actors playing the characters against a green screen and 3D special effects. The cinematic videos were replaced with static images in the Nintendo version due to the limited storage space of the cartridge. The official website of the game included a detailed story section which explained the background of the characters, starting with the creation of the reality, the Elder Gods, and the battle between Shinnok and the God of Thunder, Raiden. To create a more realistic and dark atmosphere for the game, the developers created the levels and some of the bigger enemies entirely in real-time 3D, whilst using digitized live actors for the human characters. Familiar faces from past games returned to bring old and new characters to life. Mortal Kombat Mythologies would be the last Mortal Kombat game to use digitized graphics.
Die, Lin Kuei!
With a heavy focus on the story, the game introduced a plethora of new characters. Some of them quickly became fan favorites and have since played important roles in the Mortal Kombat franchise. Shinnok, a fallen elder god and ruler of the Netherrealm. Quan Chi, a free-roaming sorcerer, powerful in the black arts. He is on a quest to restore Shinnok's powers, which are locked inside the amulet. Fujin, the god of wind and one of the protectors of the amulet. He and the other 3 elemental gods must ensure that the amulet never falls into the wrong hands. Serena, a demon from the Netherrealm. She is one of the 3 assassins who serve Shinnok. Unlike the other 2, she has an agenda of her own. And the Grand Master of the Lin Kuei.
Enough!
A concept of a hellhound, a demonic dog-like creature, made its way online during the production of the game. However, its fate remains a mystery, as it does not appear in the final version. Several other changes were made during the development of the game, including an alternate ending in which Sub-Zero returns to his clan after failing his mission. Just like in any other game of the franchise, secrets are an important part of mythologies. Depending on the decisions made by the player, several details of the story and the outcome of the game can be altered. Although good, many of the players considered the 2D gameplay and graphics outdated when compared to the very popular and new at the time 3D games. The game was also criticized for its difficulty and controls unfit for an action-adventure title with platform elements. Most problematic was the use of a separate button to turn the character around. In spite of these things, the game sold over 1 million copies worldwide and was regarded a commercial success. This led to the creation of a portable version in 1998. Mortal Kombat Mythology's Sub-Zero ends with the introduction of a familiar character leading directly to the first Mortal Kombat.
It seems your exploits have caught the eye of another sorcerer. I would like you to meet the retainer of your services. His name is Shang Tsung, and he would like you to compete in a small tournament. It's called Mortal Kombat.
In the late 90s, the arcades were overtaken by three-dimensional fighting games which overshadowed their 2D counterparts, with a number of fighting game franchises stepping into or already present in the new 3D arcade fighting arena. It was time for Mortal Kombat to take full advantage of the new technology. Mortal Kombat 4 was released in the same year as Mythologies and introduced the fighting game series to the new and very popular at the time, Third Dimension. The development faced significant problems and short deadlines, which resulted in 3 significantly different from each other public revisions. The team at Midway, and especially Ed Boon, was concerned about the effect the introduction of the 3D elements and graphics could have on gameplay. A decision was made to keep this aspect as true to the original concept as possible. As a result, the gameplay is very similar to the previous installments. A few enhancements were introduced to keep the experience new and fresh. Mortal Kombat 4 runs on Midway's own hardware called Zeus. This technology is reported to be 10 times faster than Nintendo 64, which was considered an incredible achievement. Some of the Zeus features were created based on requests from the game's development team. As a result, Mortal Kombat 4 is one of the best-looking fighting games of its time, with highly detailed characters and backgrounds. In addition, the game offers fast gameplay while smoothly running at 60 frames per second.
Thousands of years ago, in a battle with the fallen elder god known as Shinnok, I was responsible for the death of an entire civilization. To rid all realms of Shinnok's menace, I waged a war that plunged the Earth into centuries of darkness and banished Shinnok into a place called the Netherrealm. Now, after Shao Kahn's defeat at the hands of Earth's warriors, Shinnok has managed to escape his confines in the Netherrealm. The war is now being fought once again. Only this time, it can be won by mortals.
Mortal Kombat 4 offers a smaller cast than the previous 2 installments. Several of the most iconic fighters of the franchise returned, and they all retained their original special and finishing moves. The story is a direct continuation of the story that starts in Mythologies, and 3 of the new characters from the action-adventure game appear here as well. Shinnok, the fallen elder god, overtakes the realm of Edenia and uses it to launch an attack on the heavens and the other elder gods. Quan Chi, after freeing the evil elder god from his confines, he is granted the highest position among his ranks. Unknown to his master, he has an agenda of his own. Fujin, the god of wind, and one of the last surviving earth gods after the attack on the heavens. In addition to these characters, several new characters were introduced to expand the roster. Kai, a former member of the White Lotus Society and friend of Liu Kang. Jarek, the last member of the Black Dragon. This character carries such a strong resemblance to Kano that fans speculated that he was indeed planned for the game, but had to be replaced to make room for new characters. Reiko, a former general of Shinnok. He resurfaces to lead the forces of darkness into the battle against the Elder Gods. One of the biggest mysteries of the game revolves around this character and his connection to the Emperor of Outworld, established in the non-canon endings of the home versions. Tanya, as the daughter of an Endenian ambassador to New Realms, she betrays her own world by helping Shinnok and his army invade it.
Well done.
The arcade version of Mortal Kombat 4 has only one secret fighter who appeared in its 3rd revision. This character started off as the victim of a finishing move until eventually the developers decided that it would be an interesting idea to make him playable. Unlike the previous hidden characters, Meat does not have his own moves or story. He instead borrows the moves of every other character. Many significant changes and slight alterations were made during the production of the game, and even the amount of playable characters shifted from revision to revision. A big part of the development of Mortal Kombat 4 was made without the final hardware. At that time, a version of Asteroids was implemented as a bonus game, but the team did not have time to port it over to Zeus once the switch was made. According to the rumors, Serena was among the considered characters. Mortal Kombat 4 is, surprisingly enough, the first game to remove an already playable character during the development. The mysterious black ninja, Noob Saibot, appears as a selectable fighter in the early betas and was even shown to the public. Unfortunately, he never made it into any of the major revisions. A combat code called Noob Saibot mode exists in the game. Its effect, however, remains unknown. Noob Saibot is a hidden, selectable character in the home versions, where he shares many special moves with Reiko. Several previously unseen gameplay features are introduced. Exchangeable weapons. While limited for today's standard, they played a significant role in the gameplay of most of the characters and bring much needed diversity between them. Each character has their own weapon, but can also pick up and use any other. Limited sidestepping and interactive arenas, with objects that can be picked up and thrown at the opponent. The combo system of the game is similar to the one seen in previous installments. In early revisions, most of the characters had really powerful combos and infinities, which needed to be corrected. Maximum damage was introduced to automatically break combos after a predefined amount of damage is caused.
Excellent.
Mortal Kombat 4 was a financial success and was accompanied by an aggressive advertising campaign.
The new arcade game is causing quite a sensation.
Mortal Kombat 4. A new Mortal Kombat hits a new level of violence.
Meet Mortal Kombat 4, the latest horror in violent video games for your kids.
We took a look at games like this one, but are they just games, or could they have long-term effects on violent behavior in our society?
The Mortal Kombat 4 Road Tour is something that's never been done before in the video game world. We're taking Mortal Kombat 4 on the road to select cities around the country, and we're providing players a sneak preview, an exclusive sneak preview of the game a full month before anyone else in the world will see it.
This is a product that will cause the kids to be standing 5 deep, waiting to play, because it is so much more exciting than anything that's in the market right now or anything that's been introduced in the market over the past few years.
I'm here to play Mortal Kombat 4.
It's just because it's Mortal Kombat, everybody's going to play it.
I wanted to be the first to play it.
Shinnok wins. Fatality.
Crushing pound of the mallet. The shattering blow of the club. The slashing edge of the blade. They call to you. Mortal Kombat 4. Darkness is calling.
Mortal Kombat 4 was released for home systems in the summer of 1998. A Game Boy version also appeared in the same year and was based on the engine used for Mortal Kombat 3. The developers of the home ports wanted to keep the original frame rate of the arcade version, as lowering it would have hurt the gameplay. To achieve this, the graphics had to be significantly reduced due to the immense power of the arcade hardware. Lower resolution, less detailed characters, missing arena elements. This came as a shock mostly to PC owners who always enjoyed nearly perfect ports of the arcade games. Several exclusive features were added to enhance the overall experience. New game modes, one additional background, playable version of Noob Saibot, alternative outfits for all characters, full motion videos for the disc versions, and more. Goro returned as a hidden playable boss character. Ed Boon always wanted to include a big boss fighter in the arcade version, but this never happened due to time constraints. Goro was developed at Midway for the home ports but using the arcade game. According to the development team, one of the in-house arcade machines has a playable version of the character. The developers of the home version wanted to include Katana, but did not have enough time to finish her. Her code and model were not removed from the released game and are still accessible using cheats and trainers. A second new arena was also left unfinished, and it can be activated just like Katana.
That's the bomb.
A Mortal Kombat 4 comic book was released with the PC version. It tells the events that lead up to the game, including the attack on the Elder Gods and the invasion of Edenia. A combined soundtrack from the last two games was also released. It offered 23 tracks, 3 of which were developed but never actually used in Mortal Kombat 4. Mortal Kombat 4 was the last game of the franchise to be released in the arcades. While praising the great visuals and the return to the dark atmosphere, the fans criticised the lack of innovation in the design, the story, and the special moves of some of the new characters. With the arcade scene dying in the late 90s, Mortal Kombat 4 was unable to become as popular as the previous games. 5 years shall pass before another major installment of the fighting game series would try taking the franchise in yet another new direction.
Ha ha ha!